Welcome to the Smart Weight Loss Coaching Podcast. I'm Dr. Lisa Olson, a board-certified weight loss medicine specialist and certified life coach. In this podcast, I'll share fresh insights and effective techniques for incorporating mindset, habit change, and proven science into your life. Are you ready to achieve sustainable weight loss, wellness, and longevity? Then let's jump in and lose weight the smart way. Today, we're going to discuss busyness and the minimum baseline for weight loss. At our pediatrician's office, Dr. Andy always asks my kids, do you eat one fruit and one vegetable each day? When they were little, I used to think he was setting the bar ridiculously low for them. They far exceeded that minimum baseline. But these days with teenagers, I get it. If my kids eat one of each every day, they're doing great. I'm not looking for perfection, but I know they can eat something healthy each day, despite their busy schedules. It doesn't take much longer to eat an apple than a cookie after school. Shout out to you, Dr. Andy. My kids adore you because you hold them accountable without asking for something that seems impossible. You've given them a minimum baseline for healthy eating. Most of you already have a minimum baseline for some things in life. Think about brushing your teeth. Maybe you'd like to brush your teeth after every meal and snack, but your minimum baseline involves brushing in the morning and again before you go to bed at night. You don't have drama around that. You just get it done because you're an adult and you accept that as the minimum baseline for your dental health. I have a minimum baseline for my bedtime. I often find myself tempted to stay up late, especially when my family is up late or when I'm reading a great book. I used to stay up way too late flipping through social media, though thankfully I've stopped that habit. My minimum baseline is to go to bed by midnight. No matter how captivating my book, how compelling the conversation with my husband or my teenager, I just shut it all down at midnight. They can be night owls, but my minimum baseline says I'm done. I have a silly way of coaching myself on that. If I see that it's nearing 12, I'll simply say, okay, Cinderella, time to call it a night. Let's bring the minimum baseline back to health and specifically weight loss. In my practice, the number one thing I hear from people who want to lose weight but have struggled to do so is this. I know what I should do, but I'm just too busy to focus on my weight right now. Some people don't believe weight loss is possible because their calendar is jam-packed. It's hard to see where to carve out time for healthy habits. Women often describe it as, I just don't have the bandwidth to focus on myself right now. Listen, I have some good news for you. It's not as hard as you might think. If you're listening to this, you already know at least 90% of what you need to know to lose weight. And you probably know 80% of what you need to know to keep it off. The missing link is digging into your mindset and setting a minimum baseline to get yourself started and keep it going, even when life is busy. At the very least, your minimum baseline will prevent weight gain, which most of us have year over year. It's not sexy to set goals to avoid a 3-pound weight gain this year, but isn't that better than passively allowing it to happen? If you're waiting for an extra 3 hours a day to be dropped into your lap by the calendar fairy, you'll never find the bandwidth to focus on your health or to lose weight. Instead, let's ditch our vague plan to put it off until life is calmer and instead just focus on the bare minimum or minimum baseline. Dr. Andy's bare minimum is one fruit and one vegetable each day. Let's take a moment and think about your total fruit and vegetable intake. Do you get one of each every single day? I can already imagine the pushback I might hear. Maybe something like this. I don't have time to go to the grocery store. Or I buy produce, but half of it goes bad before I eat it. Or when I get home after a busy day, that's not what I'm in the mood for. Listen, I get it. We have been led to think that our food should be entertaining. It should crunch, pop, melt, and delight us. But everything we eat doesn't need to involve a trip to the food carnival. Everything doesn't have to involve a lot of prep and perfection either. Some food can be simply functional, and the more we eat functional food, the more our taste buds adapt. It's true that if you're used to Breyer's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream every night, you're used to a food fiesta in your mouth, with its guar gum, carob bean gum, corn syrup, soy lecithin, mono and diglycerides, and so on. Choosing to eat something healthy first is going to involve making a commitment to your minimum baseline, and then it will also take some practice and patience. Don't beat yourself up if it takes reminders to stick to that minimum baseline. We all need practice to put a new system in place. So coming back to the ice cream, it's not that it's forbidden, rather we're focusing more on what we're adding in to your day in terms of nutrient-dense foods before we indulge in foods that don't contribute to the running of the body. It's not different from eating dinner before having dessert. Let's say you've set your minimum baseline to include 1 fruit and 1 vegetable a day, just like Dr. Andy asked. You can coach yourself like this. It's not that I can't have that ice cream, but let me hit my minimum baseline first. Ta-da! Done. By the way, part of the fruit veggie minimum baseline involves acknowledging that these produce servings may not be your ideal version of produce. You might love roasted Brussels sprouts with olive oil, salt, pepper, and a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese, but your minimum baseline acknowledges that some nights your dinner vegetable will be a can of peas, or maybe some frozen corn warmed up in the microwave, or some plain baby carrots right out of the bag. Maybe frozen edamame warmed up in salt water in the microwave checks the box for you. This flexibility is what gets us to honor our minimum baseline. If you're already always eating a minimum baseline of 1 fruit and 1 veggie per day, you might consider taking it up a notch. How about 1 fruit or vegetable with each meal? So, if you eat 3 meals a day, then no matter what else you eat, you'll be having 3 servings of produce. Shouldn't we strive for more than 2 or 3 servings daily, you might be wondering? Sure, of course, that would be terrific. I'd love to see you get double that minimum baseline. But the point of setting the baseline is not to hit an aspirational or perfectionist way of eating. It's a way to acknowledge that our lives can't always revolve around our food. Our lives are busy. They revolve around our families, our jobs, our responsibilities, and activities. With the minimum baseline, even when you're busy, even when you're traveling, even if it's a holiday, you've got a reasonable and achievable plan to stay on track. For some of you, the minimum baseline concept might be focused on activity. Let's say your actual goal is to get 10,000 steps per day, a fantastic thing to strive for. But you know that during the work week or when you're traveling for work, that's tough to achieve. Perhaps your minimum baseline says you'll walk the dog around the block at a minimum anytime you're in town. Once you're outside, you may choose to do more, but you create a feeling of accomplishment when you check your minimum baseline off the list, even on your busiest days. What if your minimum baseline during the week is that walk with your dog, and that's going well, but then the weather becomes cold and rainy? No sweat. We're nothing if not flexible when it comes to weight loss and healthy living. What else can you do for the 10 minutes it takes to hit your baseline minimum walk? Why not open up YouTube and try an episode of Adriene Yoga? Or maybe you'd like to try the Johnson & Johnson official 7-minute workout. If you haven't checked out either of those, what are you waiting for? You can do the 7-minute workout or one of the many variations of it in a hotel room, in a private corner of your office, in your family room or your bedroom. It's a complete series of exercises that you can do quickly. And if you happen to have more than 7 minutes, and you're willing, then you can repeat it and get a 14-minute workout. On days when I travel, my minimum baseline is that if I haven't gotten my steps in, I'll pace up and down the airport terminal, dragging my rolling bag behind me until they start boarding at my gate. I don't set a baseline minimum pace nor a duration. I just do what I can. Why sit at the gate when I can move? Again, the idea of the minimum baseline is that we aren't making it too hard to fit it into a busy day. If you're not an exerciser, It might not fit with your minimum baseline to do that 7-minute workout or a 10-minute yoga routine. That's fine. Maybe just put on some music and move your body gently for the same amount of time it would take to walk a dog. The idea here is not to let perfect be the enemy of the good. I'm talking to you perfectionists out there. And also, I like to think of the minimum baseline as things we can add in rather than things we restrict. Let's do that kindness for ourselves. There are enough restrictions and rules in our lives already. Hopefully your NBA, your next best action, is to think about a minimum baseline that will work for you, no matter how busy life is. Here are 5 ideas that you're welcome to borrow, or you can choose your own minimum baseline. Number 1, thanks to Dr. Andy, let's have 1 fruit and 1 vegetable daily. Number 2, 1 deliberate walk daily, even if just for 10 minutes. Number 3, do 1 plank every day, just 1. Drop to the ground and do it. That can be your minimum. Number 4, do a guided meditation for 1 minute every day to reduce your stress. And number 5, have 1 serving of nuts each day. Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like more support during your smart weight loss journey, check out our group coaching program at smartweightlosscoaching.com. Until next time, stay well and stay smart.